We are at the oldest continually operating stadium in the NFL as you get a look inside Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Today, it's a black and blue matchup in the NFC North between the Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers. Mason Crosby of the Packers has it teed up, and off we go from Lambeau. And no run back on the opening kickoff. It'll come out to the 25. They start the drive with Cook. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. 16 yards right off the bat and a first down.
A big hole there. How about him handling the point of attack? Just positioning himself so that run could go right off of his backside and deep into the secondary.
One play has him up past the 40 already, and another 1st and 10. They'll bring a receiver in motion right. They run again on first down. Cook. And slow going there as he'll only get a yard, maybe, up to the 41. And, Charles, you look at this defense, they were a very loose group coming into the week, knowing they kind of had the upper hand going into this one, taking on a team that hasn't won in a month and a half.
And that works well for you if you establish your dominance early in the game against a team that's struggling. But if somehow they fashion some plays together early, knock them back on their heels, that looseness can be used against them. Then they're trying to scramble to make sure they get their game right.
And it looks like we've got a dime set here defensively. 6 DBs in the game. To throw, Cousins. That one into the hands of Thielen, complete. And he can only get this to the 42-yard line. And that is not near enough. So on 4th down, on is the punter, Ryan Wright. He punted 4 times in the loss last week as he gets this one away here. So possession goes over here on the punt. And the Packer drive will start from deep in their own territory with a 1st and 10. They'll start the drive with a carry by Jones. And a productive gain out to the 14 after starting at the 7. It's a gain of 7. 2nd down, another shot for Jones. And he'll be a couple yards shy of the 20 at the 18. Now a 1st down carry by Jones. And he maneuvers up the middle for 3. And it's 2nd down. 3 yards on that last carry. Here's 2nd and 7. On play action, Rodgers. Now swing pass for Dillon. And he's able to get this one up. his 30 before he's out of bounds. So 1st and 10 now from the 30. On play action, it's Rodgers. Under a heavy rush, and down he goes. After the sack, it's 2nd and 19, and the road gets a bit tougher from here. Rodgers now to throw. And this one complete to Will Fuller. And he'll be out of bounds, but able to get it up past the 45. A gain of 28 yards there and give him a 1st down. That's what we're used to seeing from him right there. Plays like that, why he's number 4 in the league in terms of receiving yardage.
Able to make adjustments all along the way. Doesn't matter where he lines up, where he releases from. Working his way into the secondary, figures out defenses and finds weak spots in order to get open.
That was play number 7 on this drive, and it got him 7 yards. The Packers at 13-2 on the year. And they've certainly found their groove of late, winners of 5 in a row.
And this team is absolutely playing their best football right now. This is the best that we've seen them play in a long time, partner. Sky's the limit as far as they're concerned. Their confidence really soaring.
And this is caught. Touchdown. Christian Watson, his 9th touchdown of the season. And the Packers get the upper hand as they're on the board first here this afternoon. Crosby with the extra point, and it's now a 7-0 game. Now after the touchdown, here's Crosby to kick it away. And no thought to bring this one out. He'll just go down to a knee, and they'll take over at the 25. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. You know, Charles, season winding down, time to maybe look ahead to the offseason. What do you see these guys going after either in the draft or free agency?
Well, with the season that they're having, just about every position is up for grabs right now. No one is really safe, but the focal point's always the quarterback position. And he may be auditioning to try and stay with his own current team. I think he's auditioning for the rest of the league to try and find a spot because I think this team is looking for a new quarterback.
2 yards, good enough for a 1st.
Well, they came into this game saying it was important that they set the tone and show that they can run the football. And I believe that they've done that here in the 1st quarter.
On 1st and 10, Cousins. Setting up the screen for Cook. And some room to roam now. And he takes this one down almost all the way to the 30. Give him 32 on the play. After one, 7-0 on EA Sports. So the big play changes the complexion of things. Here's 1st and 10 just outside the 30. Here's a running play now for Thielen. And that one covered beautifully. Their defenders stayed home, and they'll stop him behind the line. Credit the defense there to Quay Walker, getting behind the line of scrimmage before they could rip off any sort of a gain. So a 5-yard run the other way in the wrong direction, and that leads us to 2nd and 15. They'll send a receiver in motion to the right. On play action, Cousins. And that'll be incomplete. Took a pretty good shot as he tried to pull that one in. Couldn't hang on, 3rd down.
Well, they certainly gave it an attempt. They had a diminutive receiver like this running through the land of giants in the middle of the field, but they couldn't find enough room to get him the football.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. He'll get this complete to Jalen Reagor. He's going to go out of bounds, but he takes this one down just shy of the 20. They get 15, but they still needed a little bit more. 4th down. Running for it. Here's Cook. Oh, and I think he went backward. He did. Dalvin Cook turned away on 4th down. And the Packers D comes up with a big stop. Well, I guess they wanted to get that touchdown right back on their first drive, but failed to do so.
And what they have to be careful of is pushing so hard to stay right there, to stay even with their opponent, that they gas themselves out. You know, it's almost like horse racing. Sometimes you don't want to take your horse right to the front and let him do all the work, and then someone catch him at the end and pass him up. You want to make sure you moderate what you're doing along the way and then go for the big finish.
Flushed out right. And seeing no options, he just tosses this one away incomplete. Now that'll bring up 2nd down.
Well, these two teams, they met up way back in the season opener. And it was the Packers who won that game on the road, so they'll be trying to win the season series here at home in Lambeau.
To throw on 2nd and 10. Rodgers.
He's got the hook up with Dobbs.
Touchdown, Packers.
Romeo Dobbs.
64 yards.
And the Packers have taken a 2-touchdown lead now.
Extra point up and good by Crosby. And it's now 14-0. Now after the touchdown, here's Crosby to kick it away.
Kene Nwangwu now out of his end zone. And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get this up to the 29.
Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. And they're in a bind early here, down 14-0. Are you worried at this stage or still too early?
You're worried. You're just trying not to transmit it to the rest of your team. You want to make sure that they stay positive. But at the same time, you're wondering, how are we going to move the football? What do we have on this play sheet that can work? Get back to basics is usually your answer. And make sure you find the guy who can move the ball fastest for you if you just get it in his hands.
Yeah, still 2nd quarter. You get points on the board here. I think you're feeling okay. Calling no gain that time as it's going to leave him with a 3rd and about 3 to go.
Coming up here looking for 3 yards to pick up the first.
They'll send a receiver in motion to the left. They'll run it. Here's Cook. They find some open field here.
And he'll be forced out of bounds all the way down inside the 20. 70 yards rushing for him as he has been tough to stop here this first half.
So they had him bottled up, able to make a man miss, and then boom, off to the races.
And it's how he made him miss. A little bit of strength, too. Had to work through contact to get him off of him. And then once he did that...
And he's going to go down. He's sacked back at the 24. The corner blitz pays off there as they sack him for a loss of 5.
Well, you're already up a couple of scores here in the first half defensively, and Charles, they just seem to be playing really free on that side of the football.
I love the observation because with that type of a lead, they feel like they can take a few more chances and be even more aggressive, and it's been paying off for them so far this game.
And out of bounds all the way down at the 3. First catch for him on the afternoon, and it results in a first down. 2 minutes to play first half. It's 14-0. This is 1st and goal and a golden chance to get a score back here before halftime. Cousins. And this is going to be intercepted. Picked off by Jair Alexander.
And the Packers are going to get the football here as the ball will come out to the 20. CD, when he went to throw that, I'm not sure if he just didn't see where the defense was. Whatever the case, not the throw you're looking for on 1st and goal.
Not at all, because, look, Let's face it, that close to the goal line, if you throw an interception, is going to hurt on any down. But really, the only down you can kind of live with is if you do it on 4th down. The first 3, if you don't have it wide open, just get rid of it. Make sure they can't get it and live to fight enough.
He's got a man complete. And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds. An excellent pickup of 34 yards. So the line of scrimmage moves all the way across the 50 now as they come up 1st and 10. Now it's Rodgers. Throw left side complete. That's Jones. And he'll be hauled down at about the 30-yard line. So 1st and 10 now from the 30. Now Rodgers. And it's intercepted at the goal line. And the Vikings will take over here at their own 14-yard line.
He's certainly not been afraid to take some chances downfield. Now, look, it's paid off for him a couple of times. That time, not so fortunate.
And that's where I want to start, what you said. It's paid off a couple of times. So his aggressiveness has been good for his offense for the most part. So he throws an interception there. No one likes that, but I would not rein him back in. The return on investment thus far has been pretty good. 2 touchdowns to 1 interception.
Here's 2nd and 9, just a yard on that last run.
That felt like a trap because it looked to me like the opposing front was on that play from the get-go. They had everyone crashing the ball carrier before he even made the line, and they hold him to just a yard.
Yeah, he's able to get most of what he needed on the carry there. 7 yards on the gain, and it's 3rd and 2 now.
And that's the kind of run that gets everyone excited on offense. And, you know, oftentimes the guys who carry the ball are the ones in the huddle doing the chirping. Right now, I think it's the offensive line telling them, run it again. We are right there about to break a big one.
Cousins on 3rd and 2. They'll roll him out right. And he gets this up just shy of the 30 to the 29 before he's out of bounds. Maybe not exactly what they had in mind, but that scramble good for 6 and a 1st down. They'll try to throw now. Cousins. And this one is incomplete.
They certainly did a nice job improvising there, extending the play, hoping someone would come open downfield, but they never did.
2nd and 10, a very chilly day here, but no snow. And I got to say, if it's going to be this cold, I want snow. Oh, that's into double coverage and intercepted. And the Packers are going to take possession of the football. An unfortunate sequence there, trying to get points before intermission, but now the interception, and their opponents have a chance to possibly pad their lead.
Yeah, they had an opportunity there, and they weren't able to capitalize on it, and that's something that could come back and haunt them later. They're begging their defense now to keep them from scoring before the half ends.
They still can't get it.
He hits Dobbs on the crosser, and he'll be brought down inside the 40-yard line.
So we've come upon halftime here in Week 17 as we send you down to Orlando where Jonathan Coachman has our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach. The final 2 quarters of the NFL regular season are upon us as the second half of Week 17 is underway. And he is out of bounds here on the return. About set to get this drive started, the Green Bay offense at the line.
And, Charles, they've got the lead. Put your coaching hat on here now. What's the game plan for the second half?
I think getting the running game going a little bit more because I thought in the first half they didn't get it moving the way that they would like. They had success throwing it. But I think these first couple of drives, they want to get those running backs going and give them more opportunities. And I will guarantee you that those guys were lobbying for them in the locker room at halftime.
Play action. Now it's Rodgers. Dancing to his left.
This is caught. It's Christian Watson.
And he's down inside the 5 at the 4 before he's out of bounds. They go right back to him for 20 and a 1st.
Jones going to take this down just short of the goal line. He got 3, but could not get the ball over the chalk. Dillon will score. Touchdown, Packers. So it's a pretty good season he's putting together running the football. That now 10 rushing touchdowns on the year.
And we know this is a passing league, and those numbers throwing the football, they seem to go up and up every year. But there's still something to have a reliable back you can count on in the red zone to bring things home for you. And that's what he's been doing all season long.
Now after the touchdown, here's Crosby to kick it away.
Nwangu now from his end zone. And ultimately cannot get this out to the 25-yard line as he's dropped at the 23. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. Now they've sort of lost their way, partner. How do they recalibrate and get this proverbial train back on track?
Well, this is where leadership really comes into play. How's the head coach handling it? The offensive coordinator? Sometimes they just make a joke. All right, guys, you had your fun? All right.
Throw it out the window.
Yeah, let's get back on track here. And sometimes that'll work just fine.
I guess it's time now to lean on that leadership. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
Well, they certainly are letting up today, partner, because they've forced big turnovers already. And it's been incredibly tough for them to get yards against, let alone put points up on the board.
Third down, Dalvin Cook. No gain on the play there. A nice job defensively. And it likely forces a punt situation on fourth. And here's Ryan Wright now as he'll kick it away for the second time. This is away and a very good kick angled for the sidelines. And this one will not be returnable as it sails out of bounds. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. They're continuing to rock and roll, and at intermission, you know, maybe sometimes you fear after such a good first half of a letdown, but that wasn't the case.
And what I remember most about being in those situations is exactly what you're talking about. You almost have that sense of satisfaction. You're like, we're doing really well. I remember one time someone saying, winning's fun, but so is playing really well. Why would we want to do otherwise? That was the message, to keep the intensity up, to keep things going. And that's exactly what we're seeing here from this team.
Yeah, it's helped them extend their lead. Here's a throw to his running back. It's complete.
And they're going to get this down to about the 17-yard line here. These Packers and these Packer fans really thrive in the cold temperatures here at Lambeau. And their guys have the lead here with a 1st and 10.
And he'll get 7 yards from the 17 to the 10 before he's taken down.
He hadn't had a ton of success here so far, but you get the feeling that he might be on the verge of popping one.
Yeah, even on that one, there was a little bit of a hole, but it closed there quickly at the end. Throwing on 2nd and 3. Rodgers. And he just chucked that one out of bounds, out of everyone's reach. Maybe a wise call not to take a sack in this part of the field. It brings up 3rd down.
I see the surprise in your face there, partner. That is a rare incompletion from him. He's been on point this entire game.
He has percentage completion-wise way up. Not that time. A hit as he throws there, incomplete.
Well, it's been a tough go for him. These guys have been driving down the field, but defensively, once they got their backs to the goal line, turned up the pressure, that's going to lead to a 4th down. Well played.
They'll go for it. It's Rodgers. Steps away to his left. And he's got it. It's caught for a Packers touchdown.
Romeo Doubs.
His 2nd touchdown of the game and his 9th on the year.
And the Packers' decision to go for it pays off with 6 points.
Crosby connects on the extra point, and that makes the score 28-0. Now after the touchdown, here's Crosby to kick it away.
Nwangu now from his end zone. And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line.
Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive.
Well, we haven't exactly been treated to a nail-biter in this one, CD, and if they cannot score here, this one's pretty much all but over.
Are you saying that you feel like people are starting to think about getting out of here and maybe beating the traffic in order to get home or to their final destination?
Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot of reason to hang around, especially if they can't score here.
Yeah, you're right about that because it has been pretty clear who the better team has been in this one. And in a league that we talk about every game being a one-score game as we go into it, watching this blowout, let's just say it's been unusual.
Third down, here's a run by Cook.
And he's got the first down as he's up to the 45-yard line.
91 yards rushing for him so far as his terrific season continues here.
First down, here's the run with Cook. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12.
You've got to figure the further they fall behind, the more you think that they'll get away from the run. They're trying to stick with it, but the results, they just aren't there.
Now they contend with a 2nd and 12 after the loss. To throw is Cousins. Now he drops it incomplete, and their struggles continue here. An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on third down. Cousins to throw it. Lets it fly for Thielen. Oh, had his hands on it, couldn't bring it in. Pretty symptomatic of how this game's been going.
Well, partner, they've certainly played up to their top 10 defensive ranking this week. They've stifled this opposing offense throughout this game. This contest is now lopsided because of their efforts, and there's still a quarter to go.
Fourth down, Cousins. Being shaken, and he's brought down. Can't do anything with the football. It's a sack and a turnover on downs. A surprising move to go for it. Predictably, at least somewhat predictably, it doesn't pay off. And the Packers are going to get the football back in excellent field position. Pressure coming from the Vikings, and they get there and bring him down. Zadarius Smith able to put an end to that play, and in so doing puts an end to this third quarter. And that is going to do it for this third quarter of action. This is the National Football League on EA Sports. They'll bring a receiver in motion right. Throwing on 2nd and long. Rodgers.
That's complete to Dobbs. And they're going to work this down to about the 32-yard line. The chance of wasting this great starting field position, a real threat. This is 3rd and long.
They'll send a receiver here in motion right. On play action, now Rodgers. He lets this one fly toward the back of the end zone. And this one dropped in the end zone. Looked like a touchdown, but not to be. And now it's 4th down.
I think it's fairly safe to call this game over, but they're still trying to bomb it downfield and add to their lead. Almost makes you start to feel for the defense and root for them a little bit, too.
Now look out, Rodgers lost the football. And the offense will recover, but it won't make much difference here. This will still be a turnover on downs. Good starting field position for the Vikings as they have it 1st and 10 at their own 43. Here's Cook as they begin on the ground. And nothing much materializing there on the first down run. He'll get a couple, and that's it.
You've got to be impressed by that defensive front on reps like those. They were not being moved off the line, kept their shoulders square, and gave their teammates time to fight to the ball and limit that gain.
On 2nd down, it's Cook again.
And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of of scrimmage. He lost 2 there, and it's 3rd down. Another example of just a dominant performance by this defense.
Yeah, you hear all the time about teams that try to steal signals from the other side and try and learn their signs and their tendencies. It's almost like they get the answers to the exam the night before and were well prepared for this final.
And that's another play that's painted the picture of this game overall. It's been a blowout. It's been continually fueled by big turnovers and stops for one side and an inability to advance the ball from the other.
Desperation time. Cousins on 4th down. And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. The Vikings unable to convert here on 4th. And that will force a turnover on downs. Now, they've clearly made a conscious decision here to be more aggressive in the late stages of this game here in the second half.
And I get it. In this situation, if you want to be aggressive out near midfield, you feel good about your defense maybe, or just, hey, I thought I had a proper play call. But how about the guys that just stopped them? How good do they feel right now? Hey, you want to go for it here? We shut you down? They're over on the bench right now feeling great.
They fake the give. Now Rodgers out to his left.
That one caught downfield by Watson.
And he's down inside the 5 at the 4 before he's out of bounds. How about a 39-yard pickup? They'll take it. To throw is Rodgers. Fuller brings it in over the middle. And it's a Packers touchdown. 4 touchdown passes now for Aaron Rodgers.
And the Packers extend their 4th quarter lead, and they are closing in now on a 14-win campaign.
Crosby with the extra point, and that makes this 35-0 now. Now after the touchdown, here's Crosby to kick it away. And from back there, a wise move. He'll just sit on this one, and it'll come out to the 25. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. It's now appearing that this losing streak is going to continue. You know, the coaching staff was confident that this was going to be the game to stem the tide, but that just has not been the case.
And the 3rd interception thrown by Cousins.
Picked up by Jair Alexander.
Well, they've got the huge lead. Now they have another interception on the defensive side. Seems like everything they touch in this one, Charles, turns to gold.
And they have to be awfully happy right there to get what appears to be one more for the road. It helps seal away one of their best efforts of the season.
He finds Watson. It's gone. And he'll get this one way up just shy of the 45-yard line. Now a play fake. Rodgers. Flush to his right. He'll get just a yard on the scramble. It's 2nd down.
I'm not quite sure what he thought he saw there, but the reality was certainly a much different picture than what he anticipated. And give credit to the defense. They were down on the flash when he broke out of there, and they forced him out with almost nothing to show for his efforts.
Off the play fake to Jones. Here's Rodgers.
He's got Tunyon complete over the middle.
From Viking territory now, they'll come up 1st and 10 at the 44-yard line. Rodgers going to throw.
On the out route, Dobbs brings it in. And the tackle going to be made at the 38.
To throw again on 2nd down. Rodgers. And he's going to be sacked. They sack him back right at the midfield stripe. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So it's Packer football here as we welcome you back. They've got a 3rd down now as they look for one more 1st down to help salt this one away. From midfield, here's Rodgers. And this is going to be incomplete.
Well, their passing attack, even though that one was incomplete, has been really sharp in this one. It's resulted in a lot of touchdowns, and it looks like they're not going to stop throwing the football until the very end of this one.
Well, that will certainly make everyone involved on offense pretty happy because that gives them all a chance
to pad their stats a bit, but as far as the actual need, you and I both know they can just run this clock out because this one, it was over a long time ago.
Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. We certainly had a sense coming in here that these guys were in for a tough one on the road. That has been how this ball game has played out. They trail big as we continue on now here in this fourth quarter. The last run got a couple. Here's 2nd and 8. Another tote for the workhorse this afternoon. It's Cook. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. A 3rd down now. Those last 2 plays indicative of how things have gone for them. Just nowhere to go on the ground and struggling to put up points. And that is incomplete.
At this point in the game, they've got to continue to try anything they can. They're still working at it, even though this one feels like a lost cause.
And here's Ryan Wright now,
standing just about on his own goal line. Averaging over 50 yards a punt so far as this one's away.
Here's Watson.
That's going to go in the books as a 55-yard punt. Well done. And control of the football switching hands here with very little time remaining in this contest. About set to get this drive started. The Green Bay offense at the line.
And this crowd has certainly liked what they've seen. Their guys fully expected to win this one coming in, and they have not disappointed.
That's caught at the 25. And one of the whistles for timeout. So they'll stop the clock here in a game that's been decided in the closing seconds. Rodgers looking to throw. And they're going to get him. He's sacked back around the 28. Zadarius Smith